Story 1. Beef, even just trying to get low-end ground beef, has gone from $3.50 to $5.14 per pound, not to mention the lean options. Now we don't buy beef anymore unless I have recently earned a good amount of extra money. Story 2. The wet food I feed my cats has increased by $10 in the past month. It now costs $44 for a 24-pack. When I checked with Tractor Supply on Monday, they confirmed that the same product was $34 just about a month ago. This situation causes me stress. This seems to have garnered quite a response. Thank you to everyone who shared their experiences. These times are tough, and I know we are all doing what we can to care for the animals we love. It is clear that many of you are truly trying to do your best, and I appreciate you all. Story 3. I couldn't believe the price of regular hot dogs. A 10-pack for $6.99 in Western Canada. Story 4. A pack of Oreos for $7? There's not a craving strong enough to make me pay that much for Oreos. Story 5. Coffee. We get ours at Costco, and a 3-pound can used to be $9.99 a few years ago. Today, that same can is $20.99. Story 6. Bags of individual candies for Easter were priced at $4.89 for 9 ounces of mini candy bars. The disappointing part is that they changed to a thicker plastic for the bag, making it look like there is very little candy inside. Less candy and more plastic is frustrating, and it made me want to cry when I saw it. Story 7. A 9-ounce package of blueberries was $7.99. I had to explain to the kids why some things are too expensive. They love blueberries, but I do not love expensive blueberries. Story 8. The final price at the register often surprises me. I can hardly leave the grocery store for under $200. Story 9. I work in retail merchandising, and I find shrinking sizes the most shocking. Some are raising prices, but nearly everyone is reducing sizes. They rarely update the back-end details because the barcodes do not change. For example, I will be entering Goldfish 192G, but the packet and the shelf label in my hand will read 185G. Story 10. Coffee prices tripled because the February heat wave destroyed crops in Brazil, the largest producer of coffee in the world. Story 11. I know it's cliché, but eggs. Seriously, $5.29 a dozen for Penny Saver brand eggs. I guess that penny I saved kept them from being $5.30 a dozen. And it goes up from there. It's crazy. I refuse to buy them right now. Story 12. Donuts at my grocery store used to cost $1 for plain ones and $1.50 for filled varieties. They increased to $2 and $2.50. I almost completely stopped shopping at that store. Story 13. A small example, but it will still add up. I went to the grocery store to buy some tortilla chips, the kind with the price stamped on the bag. The bag stated $2.29, but the store is now selling them for $3.09. I asked if that was correct, and the cashier confirmed it, explaining that they are in the process of marking everything up. I left the bag at the store. I would rather spend my money on essentials. I know that doesn't help with inflation, but those responsible for this situation are not paying my expenses. Story 14. Ground beef costs $6 for 1 pound of 80/20. I have switched to ground turkey because it is still under $4 per pound for now. Story 15. I don't know if one price went up or the other went down or both. I checked almond milk recently due to the news that the Food and Drug Administration will no longer be safety testing dairy milk. To my surprise, a half-gallon of almond milk is only 1 cent more. I didn't expect that at all. Story 16. Face wash costs nearly $20 a bottle. It's not like I'm buying the fancy products, but I do need to purchase acne and oil control face wash. Otherwise, my face will break out or become excessively oily. Story 17. I would occasionally buy a no-name dark chocolate bar for $1. The next time I went to buy one, the price was $1.69, a 69% increase in one instance. Disgraceful. Story 18. My cat needs specialized food. Otherwise, his intestines become inflamed. I purchased it from PetSmart, and the price increased to $102. Story 19. Starbucks ground coffee sold at the supermarket. 3 months ago, the large bag was $18. Now it is $24.99. I still buy it, but I now mix it with the less expensive Folgers to stretch it out. The coffee almost tastes the same. Story 20. I'm not sure if it would be considered shocking, but the salad kits that I have bought for years suddenly increased by about 25% a couple of months ago, and then again just recently. When they go on sale, they are still more expensive than they were last year. The same applies to the shredded cheese and eggs that I buy. The chocolate-covered almonds that I used to purchase are now much more expensive, probably 2 to 3 times the price. Pretty much all snacks are outrageously overpriced. They barely even have anything in the bags. I see sales where it is 2 bags of Cheetos or Doritos for $11. Is that really a sale? Story 21. Rice prices have increased by 90% in Japan due to shortages. Story 22. I paid $9 for mouthwash yesterday. I was surprised when it rang up because it felt like it was $4 a few years ago. Story 23. I wanted a couple of small blocks of Gouda and Munster, just enough for a bit of cheese and crackers for about 4 days. The small blocks were each over $17. Story 24. Frozen scallops are now priced at $24.99 a bag. They were regularly on sale for $12.99 last year. So much for that monthly splurge at our house. I'm not paying $25 for one ingredient for one meal. Story 25. Orange juice is $20 a jug in Canada now. If I liked orange juice, I would be upset, but I believe the price has tripled since the tariffs. Story 26. I specifically remember being able to get an 8-ounce package of spaghetti pasta during the first month of the COVID lockdown in March 2020 for 49 cents. It was $2.19 this afternoon while I was at the grocery store. Story 27. I accidentally paid $3.86 for a 20-ounce Coke today. I reflexively cursed at the cashier as he handed me a receipt. Story 28. No sugar-added Lindt chocolate bar was approximately $5.69 in late 2024, increased to about $9.89 in January 2025, and since no one purchased them, they've had to put them on sale for $6 to $7 recently. This is nearly a 100% markup within a 2-month period. Story 29. $15 for 18 eggs at Safeway in Oakland, California. 5 pounds of Fiji apples cost $20. But probably the most shocking, Arizona iced tea, which usually costs 99 cents, is now $3.49. Story 30. Those little bags of chocolate chips for baking are now $5. Even generic brands are more expensive. Plus, with the cost of butter and flour, it's cheaper to buy cookies now. Story 31. Pickles are one of my favorite foods, but there's no way I can justify paying $6 to $7 for a jar of garlic baby dills. Butter is another item that's almost $10 now. Story 32. U.S. citizens are being burdened by these prices. It's a scam, not inflation. Deodorant does not cost significantly more to produce over the last 5 years. Story 33. Coffee went from $8 to $11. But more insidious than the price increase is shrinkflation. The same size packaging contains less product inside. Just about everything seems to be affected by this. Story 34. The 3-piece chicken tender meal at KFC cost $15.55. I was shocked that I actually handed over my credit card. I should have declined and driven away. It was also quite unsatisfactory. Story 35. A $1 increase on sauces may not seem significant, but a 50% rise in store brands, while the named brands are approaching double digits for sugar, water, and spices in a bottle, is becoming unreasonable. Story 36. Anything you'd find at a gas station. I can no longer afford brand name chips. Generic brands don't taste that bad by comparison. Story 37. Because I have a significant amount of family in Canada, including siblings, we communicate at least every weekend and, in the past couple of months, almost daily by text. I like to compare prices in Nevada with those in Canada. Shockingly, many items are more expensive here. We tend to have better prices on lower quality items, but many food items are cheaper in Canada. Here are some recent examples they sent me, with all prices in Canadian dollars. Mexican strawberries, $1.99 per quart. 1.5 kilograms Honey Nut Cheerios, $9.99 on sale at Costco. Regular price is $12.99, while 2 pounds is $11.99 at Costco here. Chicken quarters, $1.49 per pound, as my brother-in-law mentioned. This is Canadian chicken, not the inferior quality available here. Grade AA lean ground beef, $4.49 per pound. Grade AA is equivalent to our choice grade. 18-pack Coke, $8.79. Whole fresh chickens, $1.99 per pound. Fresh tomatoes on the vine, $1.49 per pound. 1 liter of 10% cream, $2.85, Costco price. Typically $3 to $4.50 at grocery stores unless on sale. This is just a small sample of the comparisons. We won't discuss egg prices, as they are quite ridiculous in comparison to Canada. I inquired about any shortages due to the tariff situation, and they were not aware of any. They receive fruits and vegetables from around the world and are self-sufficient in meat, dairy, grains, apples, potatoes, tomatoes, and some other products grown through hydroponics. The pricing on imported items we discussed seemed reasonable. They pay a significant amount for orange juice, with the cheapest option at $3.99 for a brand that gets its oranges from Brazil. American orange juice costs between $6 and $8. They consistently express shock at how much we pay for certain items. This has made me realize that food prices here for some, if not many, items are quite outrageous. Story 38. I have started making soups as one of the best ways to make my money and ingredients last. It mainly consists of broth, seasonings, and vegetables. I will add pasta and cut up sausage as well. Pasta is also an inexpensive item. Story 39. Boneless, skinless chicken breast used to cost $1 to $2. Now, I regularly see it priced at over $5. Beef is too expensive and I dislike chicken skin. Story 40. I teach culinary classes to children. Last year, I had 20 to 25 students in my class with a materials budget of $70, which was mostly sufficient. This year, I have 7 students, and I can barely cover the costs for those children with the same $70 budget. It's absolutely crazy. Story 41. Ralph's in Murrieta, California, is selling an 8-pack of Gatorade 20-ounce bottles for over $9 with a sign that says they are a great price. I bought them at Aldi instead for $7.50, and sometimes Cardenas has them for $5.99 if you buy 2 8-packs, and even that is expensive. They used to be around $5.50 about 3 years ago when I moved here. The price always skyrockets at Ralph's every time the schools have a holiday. It is not a coincidence. Ralph's is a great example of how Kroger, which is trying hard to acquire Albertsons and other chains, is not the cheapest grocery store. They claimed that their merger would have benefited consumers, but my evidence around the Temecula and Murrieta area disproves that theory. Stater Brothers, Aldi, Grocery Outlet, Albertsons, and Cardenas are all much more competitive than Ralph's. Having the merger blocked is a win for consumers. Kroger would have removed price competition, and we would be paying a lot more for groceries. If you don't know about it, use the app called Flip to compare weekly flyers from your local stores. It has saved us a fortune over the past 3 years. Story 42. There is no competition anymore because large companies own everything. So much for a free market and the freedom of choice. Story 43. My favorite bag tea price went from $10.99 to $17.95 in just 2 weeks. I recently stocked up on imported loose tea and dried herbs online, but I didn't think to buy more of my favorite local grocery tea bags. I usually purchase a box every 2 weeks and assumed I could manage the small price increase, but this jump is quite absurd. Story 44. Go buy some sliced lunch meats and you will get an immediate sense of how far down the burning empire road we have come. Story 45. My local supermarket has now priced a normal block of Cadbury chocolate at $9. It's expensive being a chocolate lover these days. Story 46. Bacon costs $10 a pound for store brand. No, thank you. We started smoking our own, And it's not only cheaper but also much tastier. The slicer paid for itself quickly. Story 47. Maybe this isn't explained by shocking price increases, but rather the shrinking value of the United States dollar. Story 48. I saw a large display of Coca-Cola 12-pack products. They were priced over $10 each, and the presentation made it seem like there was expected massive demand, similar to the Super Bowl. Story 49. Junk food has reached a point where our household has simply stopped buying it. It's all unhealthy, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy having some from time to time. Spending $6 to $8 for a bag of chips and $9 to $11 for a 12-pack of soda is pure insanity. Story 50. The biggest shock is when they are hit with both shrinkflation and increased prices. My dog food went from 30 pounds to 26 pounds and increased by $7 per bag. Story 51. Wegmans recently displayed a sign stating that they would be raising banana prices due to a 10% tariff. This upset me because bananas are already inexpensive, and it seemed like they could absorb the few cents themselves. I dislike being charged extra for trivial reasons, especially at a store that has been raising prices and noticeably lowering quality for some time now. Then I did the math. They tried to complicate things by switching from a per pound price to a per banana price, but fortunately, I had purchased bananas recently and still had my receipt handy. The 4 medium-sized bananas I bought cost 60 cents. With the new pricing, that would be 84 cents. This means they are implementing a 40% price increase, using the 10% tariff as an excuse. While this is not the largest price difference in terms of dollar amount, I was shocked at how deceptive it was. Story 52. Tillamook cheese is now $13.99, and they have stopped putting it on sale. I feel disappointed every day. The cost of soda, which I buy for my teenagers, is outrageous for what is basically sugar water. Story 53. Chips, deodorant, and soda prices are outrageous. There is no justification for a single bag of already shrink-flat potato chips to be over $4. Deodorants are overpriced as well. A stick of Axe now costs around $10, which is excessive. As for soda, a 12-pack of cans starts at around $6 plus tax and deposit. Even a 2-liter bottle, which used to be about $1, now starts at $2 for off-brand products. Story 54. Orange juice has doubled in price in the past few years. For the name brand, 2 liters used to cost $6 to $8. Now it is $12. Story 55. Cucumbers went from $1.49 to $2.99. My children eat a lot of cucumbers each week, so I have been buying them for years, and this was a sudden increase. Story 56. Super Dupers are $7 for a bag. I swear only 2 years ago they were $2. My son is also obsessed with them, but I can't justify paying that much for flavored water that you freeze. Story 57. I particularly dislike the high cost of cleaning products because they are expensive and who really wants to clean? $8 for Clorox bathroom spray? $10 for a tub of OxyClean? Story 58. Everything. Meats, eggs, ice cream, bread, cereals, fresh produce, seasonings, sugar, and baking ingredients. Story 59. Applesauce. Why? They use rotten apples that are picked off the ground and charge $5 for a pack of 4. Story 60. 3 liters of Tropicana for $10.50 on sale. I haven't bought orange juice in a while, but it caught my eye today, and I was genuinely shocked. Story 61. Egg prices have decreased by 92 to 93%. I believe they were about $1 per dozen today. With that and my $1.98 gas, I can't believe I'm using the unconventional word groceries. My shopping trip was quite affordable. Story 62. Ground beef prices are high. I've switched to ground turkey, and while it lacks flavor, it's much cheaper, especially when my store frequently has it on sale for 99 cents per pound. Even chicken isn't a good alternative, as that is becoming expensive too. Story 63. Fruits in Korea, where I am, are quite expensive. Strawberries cost around $20 for 15, and watermelons are priced at $35. It feels as if they are saying that fruits are not essential in your diet. Just move along. Story 64. I can't buy chips from anywhere but Costco or Sam's anymore. It isn't so much the price, but how few chips are actually in the bag. Even Better Made from the gas station has barely anything in the bag. Story 65. This wasn't at the supermarket, but I noticed the little vinyl toys I have favorited from Japan on an online marketplace are now listed with $150 shipping instead of $11 shipping. Story 66. I went to Canada and was shocked at how expensive everything was, even after currency conversion. A simple Aquaphor lip balm costs $9. It's unreal. Story 67. I recently visited the United States for the first time, and I knew beforehand that groceries are expensive, but I was shocked by the prices of almost everything. I went to buy a prepackaged salad or something similar for a quick dinner, and they were all around $20 and above. The fruit was also very expensive. I ended up getting a cookie for $2 instead. Story 68. I bought bags of dirt today for $5.99 each. They were $1.99 a year ago. It's not the biggest increase, but it's dirt. Story 69. The disappointing aspect of this situation is that in rural Northern California, we are paying more for everyday items than you are. Story 70. Cereal. Not even the fancy kind, just the sad, dusty boxes from the bottom shelf. $6.49 for disappointment in a bowl. Story 71. Egg prices have seen one of the most shocking increases lately, soaring to record highs in many areas. Story 72. A bottle of soda is now $3. The ones you can just grab at the gas station. $3. Ridiculous. A can of soda from a vending machine is now $1.50. Toilet paper, body wash, razors, and other basic necessities are becoming too expensive. I really dislike it. Story 73. Bread prices have been rising steadily. It is ironic how the staple of our meals is becoming less affordable. Story 74. My favorite icy poles, which I believe are called popsicles, have doubled in price from $4.50 to $9. It's just sugary water. How can they justify that? Story 75. Grapes for 99 cents per pound used to be my threshold because my kids eat 3 pounds in an evening if given the opportunity. Now anything under $2.99 per pound is considered reasonable. Story 76. A small jar of store-brand hamburger dill slices was over $4 at Safeway recently. This may be due to the ongoing pickling cucumber shortage caused by weather-related issues in Mexico, along with inflation and soon, tariffs. Story 77. One thing is the noticeable lack of sales at this point. I usually use sale prices to channel my inner hunter-gatherer and eat seasonally when grocery shopping. Over the past 3 weeks, there has been a significant decline in a variety of food categories where there would typically be some brand offering a buy one get one free deal or other discounts. I believe this will be the first stage before a general increase in food prices. If the reciprocal tariffs return, that will certainly contribute, but even a global increase of 10% will be added to costs as inventory runs out. Almost every food item, including single ingredients, relies on international supply chains. This also applies to the fertilizers needed for production, whether through direct imports or not. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.